Good morning, Georgia. Thursday morning, Faith. You know what that is.
Community focus.
Community focus. We do it every week. We focus on a different Georgia city, and I don't know what's going on, Faith. I think the Russian attack on the Ukrainian internet has somehow bled over into America, and because all of us are having issues. I'm here at Siemens in Peachtree Corners doing a ribbon cutting for them on a new charger today, and I'm on some really good German internet here. I thought blinking out, so I've got my Verizon hotspot ready to go, turned on if I need to. So those of you that are joining us, we use a platform called StreamYard, and you're watching this on LinkedIn or maybe one of my Facebook pages, YouTube, and we allow comments. You can just comment right there if you want, like in Facebook or inside of LinkedIn or Twitter, and then we will pop up your comment like right here for folks to see it. So you're welcome to do that. Well, we've got some really fun guests today. My good friend Mark Kuntz from Mitsubishi and Prince Avenue Baptist. Mark is out in rural Walton County at his very cool sustainable compound out there. Mark, how's it going?
All good. We're on fully solar energy as we speak here.
Yeah, good. Glad to hear that. We've got Jessica Lamb. Jessica, it's always good to talk with you about the great work that you're doing in helping human trafficking victims. So thanks for being on today.
Thank you.
Hey, we got the mayor, the grand poobah, Mayor John Howard from Monroe. I tell people all the time, Mayor, it's not Monroe.
Well, I was just about to say you pronounced it wrong. It's Monroe.
It's Monroe.
Okay, you say it Monroe. I mean, how come half of your residents say Monroe?
Well, because historically in a small southern town, we speak with a much more elegant pace. That's how it comes out in Monroe. But as we've moved into the future, it's Monroe. I see myself sliding off the corner of your screen. So
there you go.
the head tilt right.
Well, you know, Commissioner, I live in a town called Newbern, but it's spelled newborn. But nobody pronounces it newborn. It's Newbern.
Yeah, I was in a town the other day that looks like Cairo, right? Cairo,
but it's like the syrup.
And then Albany, New York, is pronounced in Georgia, Albany, Georgia. So I think the reason this pronunciation stuff is important, it kind of tells how old school you are, right? How Southern you are, right, Mayor? You think?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, Mayor, Walton County is growing so much. And for those of you that haven't been over to Walton County, a piece of their county is getting that Rivian plant. There are economic development authorities involved with that. But downtown Monroe is a very quaint place. And my wife likes quaint, Mayor. She likes little shops. She likes little tea rooms. I like, your meat and three. And I even stopped and got a haircut one day down at a $12 haircut on the street of Monroe. Yeah, I was very pleased with the haircut. But tell me what's going on right now in terms of new business and growth in Monroe.
Well, it's real interesting, and I appreciate your mentioning our downtown. We were number one downtown in the state 3 years ago, and then pandemic hit, and we went to a total. It shut down as we were required by the governor to be. But during that year, our downtown businesses saw a 22.5% increase in sales tax revenues. So it was very much a love your neighbor scenario. That Julie and I live about half a mile from downtown. And instead of cooking every night, and not that we cook every night anyway, but instead of when we were home feeling sorry for ourselves and staying in and cooking, we, of course, were concerned about the world. But my friend Ross Bradley owns Your Pie right downtown, and we would drive up to the back on our golf cart, pick up to go, and then take it home. And the city side of things, we we assisted with each of our downtown businesses, helping to fund their utility costs over a few month period of that year. We also allowed our downtown restaurants to, if ordering a meal, to allow them to serve alcohol and to sell closed bottled spirits. So anything we could do to help those businesses succeed, we did. And then fast forward to last year, we had about $18 million in public-private partnership investment downtown. We've moved our PD out of the middle of town to an area that we're redeveloping, an old shopping center, and we've opened that up for another commercial retail space.
That's
Beautiful.
huge. Your police department was like right on the downtown strip, and there was no room for them to go anywhere.
Right. Well, but see, when we put them there specifically to encourage growth downtown.
Yeah.
We've seen a 20% decrease over the last 3 years in Part 1 crimes.
That's amazing.
We've been very lucky, and look, I can't attribute it all to everything that we've done as a city. Out of the national administrations, financially, I think people feel much better. And I think that as COVID spiked, under the George Floyd protest movement, a lot of folks moved here for quality of life issues. We have 1,600 homes that have been approved in the last year that are in the very beginning phases of construction, and we have a moratorium on new neighborhoods over 5 houses right now.
Wow. Your old mill, and so many towns have old mills or textile facilities, but we were getting an oak table that I had bought right after college when I got married. We bought it at Rex Furniture back where I grew up in Clayton County. Beautiful, oak table, locally made. And Wendy wanted to have it refinished. And you had a place in the mill, a couple of ladies over there that were doing really cool refinishing work on old furniture. So we took our table, our chairs over there.
Right.
They, painted them and did all their little work. Faith, you've seen these, I don't even know what it's called, but they'll paint it and they'll do little designs on it or make it look like
Distressed.
It's been distressed, stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that style.
Well, and part of the way we moved around some businesses, kind of in a new manner of speaking that you see only in places like Atlanta or larger communities. We redid both of our mills. They were antique malls. The mill at the former Walton Mill that was owned by the Felkers is now, we have a woodworking company there called Made in Monroe, and they are fantastic business. They do more large scale production, but there's still some folks up top that do the refinishing. It's a really cool setup.
Yeah. Well, Mayor, look, thanks for being on today. We got a number of your citizens on Mark Kuntz we're about to visit with, and my buddy Rick, who has that really cool moonshine still out there. It looks like a moonshine still. It's not.
It is not.
Well, I didn't know if we were supposed to talk about that. So,
yeah. So anyway, Mayor, we got to get a haircut and have lunch together next time I'm down there.
We won't worry about the haircut for me, but I'm more than happy to have lunch. And I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I mean, I should have known that about his haircut issue.
Right.
Yeah, so, okay.
Maybe he needs a shave.
Yeah.
I'll do
Hot
it.
towel shave. Thanks,
This is a
Mayor.
real barbershop. They'll actually do shaves at that
They
barbershop.
really do great. And look forward to your visit. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay,
Appreciate
great,
your time.
great. Thanks a lot. Hey, let's talk with Mark Kuntz. Mark works with Mitsubishi, and I mean Mitsubishi's a big company. They make heavy industrial equipment, gas turbines, cars, but they make HVAC equipment, and that's the division that Mark works with. But he lives in Monroe. He's got a very cool, sustainable home, and I've been to his home. We actually go to church together as well. So, Mark, we are designating you as our good citizen today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about your home, because it is maybe the most energy efficient home in Walton County.
Well, we fell in love with the area. We were living in Swanee, had a daughter get married to a Georgia grown young man who we know is going to be out in the Watkinsville area. And we told them, we're going to find us a piece of property near you guys, and got a realtor, and he showed us a lot of places. We found this place in Monroe, just fell in love with it. It's 12 acres on a little lake. And we thought about remodeling a home that was on the property, but we wanted this to be something unique in terms of sustainability and energy efficiency. And our builder said, I could do that to your old house, but it'd probably be easier to just tear it down and start over. Well, we said, how about we start over at the other end of the lake? So he built us a beautiful high performance home to which we added every conceivable Mitsubishi electric device to further reduce the energy usage, and then topped it off with Mitsubishi electric solar panels. So for the life of the home, we've put about 50% more energy onto the Walton EMC grid than we've taken off. And for the last year, we've lived here full time, and that includes our transportation. As you know, Commissioner, we're big EV advocates as well, and we have an assortment of 3 different electric cars. So we're zero energy or even positive energy, including our transportation.
Mark, this reminds me of the Candida building at Georgia Tech, because you're not only net zero, but you are net negative as you feed energy back to the grid. And the Candida building at Georgia Tech is a similar building. We featured them on Energy Matters, where they could actually power an entire other Candida building with the energy that they put back on the grid. So I know Walton EMC has been very aggressive in adding solar all around the state. Facebook gets their solar from Walton. More and more companies are utilizing Walton EMC, so they're a leader. Is there any other energy or sustainability features of your house, and how you've done those Mitsubishi splits that you have?
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out for Walton. They have a great community solar program, as you've discussed, Commissioner. But they're also very, very easy to work with if you want to do like I did and put solar on your own place. I worked with folks over there. Jeff Paul was the leader. He took a look at my wiring schematics, gave me some pointers. We put the system in as per the schematic. They came out, they approved it, and we had the thing running within a day of having it complete. And I'll point out, I actually did the installation myself, and I'm not an electrician. So the guidance that we got there and the oversight led to a very good outcome. We do have the energy storage system on site here as well. To be net zero in real time, you've got to have storage, because your system's going to produce way more energy than you need in the afternoon. And of course, overnight, you don't have any. So we put in a 10 kilowatt hour battery, and that has allowed us to go with real-time net zero. Not every day, the dead of winter when we've got dark, cloudy days, we do run out, but it's net positive in an overall year, and it's net zero on a nice sunny day in real time. The Mitsubishi mini splits really contribute to that. As you mentioned, Tim, this is the most energy efficient way to heat and cool your home. we have no fossil fuel here in the house at all. So our cooking, our water heating, our heating and air conditioning, all electric. And the Mitsubishi systems give you each room you set to the comfort level that you want. You're not in there, you don't have to condition it at all. And when you enter, it turns on and brings you to the perfect conditions very, very rapidly. It's perfect with the storage. It doesn't draw much power and it ramps very slowly. And even in an outage condition, I've got the ability to run one of the mini splits and keep us comfortable during say we had an ice storm or some other reason that the grid shuts down. So really gives us a very efficient way to live grid connected and grid isolated.
Just the last question, Mark. I know you work with Mitsubishi. You and I talked about the Japanese and how they view waste, their great stewardship of the planet, their care for nature, beauty, the environment. How much has working for a great company like Mitsubishi impacted your view of the environment and sustainability?
Well, as you mentioned, Tim, it's the tradition of the Japanese to be great stewards of the planet. They live on an island with virtually no natural resources. Everything they have to bring in. And so they are incredibly efficient with their use of resources. It always strikes me when I'm visiting Tokyo, city of tens of millions of people, there are no trash receptacles anywhere. People take their trash home, they sort it, they recycle it, they make good use of it. That permeates the culture. And that's what led to the creation of these hyper efficient heating and air conditioning systems. Energy in Japan is 10 times what we pay here, and space is at an incredible premium. So they had already developed the technology. When America started to go in the direction of high performance construction, net zero, LEED, passive house, the technology was ready to go, proven, and all we had to do was get it to American standards and adopt it. And that culture continues to drive, the efficiency goes up every year. It continues to get better.
Well, Mark, thank you for being our good citizen. And your neighbor, Rick, over here, you need to see Rick's place and he needs to see your place because you both are doing some incredible things. Rick probably had the first solar in Walton County, don't you think, Rick? Didn't y'all have the first solar array out there?
I believe it was the first commercial solar array, yes.
Yeah. And how many megawatts, I mean, not megawatts, how many kilowatts do you have out there, Rick?
We're at over 160 kilowatts.
And yours are fixed panels, and are you feeding back onto the Georgia Power or Walton EMC grid?
We feed into Walton EMC, and we also have the hotel downtown. We put solar there as well as we've got a music hall, which is like it's a venue for weddings and events. We put solar there as well, and that we feed back into the city of Monroe.
Yeah, that's great, Mayor. The mayor's backstage listening. He can give he can send a little thank you note out there to Rick for feeding all that solar back. Mark, what I love about what Rick is doing out there, and they've been doing this for, wow, Rick, maybe a decade now, where you guys are taking oils, right? French fry oil, chicken grease, different, things. And then at least the last time I was there, you were making it in 500-gallon batches. How has it changed since I've been out to your place?
Well, we bought the land in 2006, and then we actually started a prototype plant in 2008. We were going to build a bigger facility, and then with the economics and the ups and downs with the credits, we elected not to do that and focus instead on collecting the used cooking oil that you were talking about. And at this point now, we do our batch size is right around 1,500 gallons. And we make fuel mainly for ourselves and for some key clients. And our trucking has gotten fairly large. We now collect used cooking oil throughout the Southeast, and from over 2,000 restaurants. We ended up getting awarded all the forts and bases in the Southeast, with the exception of a few. So we're going all the way up to Fort Bragg and dealing with their restaurants, and going all the way down to Eglin Air Force Base. So we've kind of really expanded our overall collection reach. And we're doing, we provide now the feedstock to the majors, such as Valero's joint venture Diamond Green down in New Orleans, where they actually make something called renewable diesel, where they crack the used cooking oil like they would crack crude oil, but because they're dealing with a renewable product, it's carbon negative, and we've provided to them. We provide to Nestle and Savannah, and then we also provide REG, which is one of the largest publicly traded renewable producers in the country. And right now we're doing about 100 tanker loads a month to all three of these entities. And
Wow.
It's really kind of taken off.
Mark, I'll put you on the spot here because I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, because I didn't know I was going to ask you this. But do the Japanese collect the oil and that kind of thing, and do they reuse that? Do you have any idea if they're doing that in Tokyo?
I got to believe the answer is yes, Tim, because they recycle and reuse everything. I don't have personal knowledge of it, but I would say 99% likelihood they do.
Yeah. Well, Rick, that's quite a few truckloads. Y'all weren't doing near that much when I was down there. I'm surprised your company hadn't been acquired by some large publicly traded company.
Well, there is a lot of acquisition going on, but our goal is to, what do you do with cash when you get it? Are you going to put it in the stock market, and then what? So if you invest in your company, you've got something that's a predictable revenue generator. It's kind of a better model, and we like it because we actually annex that land into the city. So we work very closely with the city. And you're right. We have a lot of trucks now. We have over 20 tankers, and then we have our vacuum trucks, and we kind of have outgrown the area that we're in, which is right on Monroe, Jersey Road. And we recently teamed up with Wesley, who owns Brown Oil Company, and we bought some land, industrial land. Actually, had it just recently rezoned. That was out by the old Universal Rundle plant. So we're going to move a lot of our truck traffic out there, which will be nice because you can jump right on 11 and hop down to I-20. Mm-hmm. But we also opened other facilities. We have one in Alabama in Summerdale, which is right near to Mobile. People love to fry down there. So there's a lot of good oil restaurants. Some of these restaurants are generating as much as 200 gallons a month of oil. And then we have another facility up in right outside of Richmond, Virginia.
Rick, just last question here. People that are using oil, maybe they're frying their turkey, maybe they're whatever. What's the best way for an average homeowner like Faith, me, and Mark to deal with our leftover oil?
Well, in Monroe, the Monroe Recycling Center, it's actually a county facility where you can go recycle your plastics, your cardboard, your paper. We have a bin out there, and you can basically just take your container and then drop it right into the bin. And these kind of recycling centers exist pretty much in Morgan County and Newton County, where you can do that, and then we just go pick up instead of dealing with a 1 gallon jug, we're dealing with 200 to 300 gallon bin when we take our trucks and suck the bin empty.
Wow.
I did not know
Well,
that.
I want to thank both of you for being on today. Really, you're both good citizens, and you both are clean energy advocates. So I wish I could just clone both of you guys, because what you're doing out there, both with energy efficiency, Mark, you're living it, Rick. What you're doing with recycling oil, your solar commitment. I mean, it's just incredible. And I just want to just acknowledge the great leadership that you're both displaying here. And it's our privilege to be able to recognize you today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Well, I am here at Siemens. You're tuned into Community Focus, and Jessica, I know you're probably sitting there learning a lot, just like I am, right, in all of this. I will have my Public Service Commission work that I'm going to hop off on in just a second. Faye's going to interview Jessica. We always do a segment about human trafficking, and so Faye's going to interview Jessica and wrap our show up today. But Jessica, I just want to say that you guys are really, you've really identified something that a lot of people weren't aware is happening, when girls are branded, essentially. I spoke yesterday in Valdosta about human trafficking, and people were very interested to know about what's happening, and they want to help. But when you get down to this detail about these girls being branded with these tattoos, I mean, people's mouths, their jaw just drops open. They just can't believe, all that's happening out there. So thank you for your leadership. I'm going to hop off, and Faith's going to continue to talk with you. And look, you let us know how we can be of help to you in the future. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All righty.
So Jessica, you've been on a couple of times. One of my favorite ministries that we work with. I think the work that you're doing is so unique, especially here in the state, and fills a need that is not something most people would think of. But I know it completely changes the lives of these women that you work with. So tell us a little bit about Atlanta Redemption Inc. And what it is that you guys do.
So we are a survivor-led nonprofit organization here in Georgia, and we work with survivors of commercial exploitation, human trafficking, former gang members, people who have struggled with self-harm, and also addiction. So we help them cover their tattoos from exploitation or their former gang tattoos, or we help them cover scars from abuse, or actually just scars from abuse. So it could be self-harm, it could be addiction, any of those things. So we worked with about 36 shops across the state of Georgia. And we actually even have one close to Monroe that works with us. And, we walk along the survivors to go through this whole process with them to cover up these tattoos or help them remove them. And so we have helped about 360 since we started in 2017. So it might not be like this astronomical number, but it's for one person, it made a difference. And so, that's kind of how we look at it. We also have our Beyond Inc. program, which helps them with getting an education as well as providing trauma-informed counseling.
That's awesome. I didn't know about that aspect of your ministry. Is that relatively new?
No, we actually started Beyond Inc. in 2018. We had a therapist that joined on with us, and it's just an option for people that may not have insurance or able to afford to have mental health counseling, because it is something that is expensive. So we wanted to make sure that we provided that, because some people need that extra support.
Yeah. So since we are talking about Monroe, what is the name of the shop that you guys work with that's in the area?
We work with Agape Inc. And we also work with one, it's kind of outside of Athens, so it's not super, super far, I don't think. But we work with them, and that is Tassie's Tattoo.
And so let's talk for a second about the kind of artists that are needed for this work, because you can't just take a survivor of something traumatic like trafficking or abuse into any old tattoo shop, right? And have a pleasant experience. So tell me how you connect with your artist and what you're looking for in your shops.
Well, what's awesome about the tattoo community is that many of them are like amazing people, and there's been this stigma against tattoo shops for a very long time, and I think that's in the last few years have really lightened up a lot, and it's becoming more acceptable in our society, which is awesome. And the people that work with ARI, they go through a background check, they go through trauma-informed training, they are offered safe place training, and we just want to make sure that wherever we send somebody, they're going to be in really good environments. There's no drugs or alcohol in the shops, which typically there isn't, but we just want to make sure that we are adding that layer of protection. We always have a volunteer that goes with a survivor to a shop or the removal specialist. So we really look for people that are wholesome, healthy environments.
That's fantastic. So you said that you had a story to tell us of one of the girls that you've helped recently. Why don't you tell us that story?
So there was a couple I just wanted to highlight really fast. And that was, we had a young lady who actually was married to her trafficker, and they had children together. She met him when she was 19, and she lived with a tattoo of his name on her neck for 17 years. And he didn't force it on her. He wasn't like holding her down, but she wanted to show that she was loyal and that she loved him. And, he provided things for her, because a lot of people that are caught up in human trafficking are needing that sustainability. They're looking for the basic needs, shelter, food, all those things, connection. And so she lived with that on her for 17 years. And we were able to cover that recently, actually in the Monroe area. And she was able to be set free from that mark on her. And I remember her seeing it and just staring in the mirror for a good 10-15 minutes. She just kept looking at it, and she kept looking at her neck, and she was like, wow, it's gone. I'm not, that was the last thing that was tying me to this man was this tattoo. And we were able to help her cover that up with something that was significant to her.
Yeah.
Then we had a young man who had been in and out of the prison system since he was 12 years old. So he was in and out of juvie, in and out of, he got to become an adult, and he was in and out of the prison system. And, we talk a lot in the community about stopping recidivism. And so he had all these tattoos on his face and his hands, and he wasn't able to find, sustainable employment. And so we were able to help him remove those tattoos to help him take a step further in his healing. And that opened more opportunities for him, more job opportunities, not so much judgment about, the way his appearance. Yeah. So that really helped him in his journey as well. So there's so many stories. We don't even have the time today to talk about them, but what we're doing is really impacting the community. And I say that humbly, but it does make a difference. And it's something that absolutely has to be a part of the conversation when we're talking about human trafficking, exploitation, former gang activity, and mental health.
Absolutely. So you said before we started that y'all are looking now at expanding your board a little bit. And looking for some new board members. So if someone was interested in the community in getting involved and serving on your board, how would they get a hold of you?
Our website is scrolling across the bottom. They can reach out through our contact page on there, or they can call our hotline. That's open all the time. That's 678-926-9946. We are looking to expand our board of directors. We're looking to expand our advisory board, volunteers, community donors. We also have opportunities for people to serve on our scholarship committee, so they would go over applications. So there's a process for all that, and we can go over that through a phone call.
Awesome. Jessica, thank you so much for coming back on with us. It is always a pleasure to have you on. Just want to say goodbye to everybody. Thank y'all so much for coming on. Monroe is close to my heart. I told the mayor earlier this week, I spent my entire youth years going to church in Monroe on South Madison. So
we hope you come back.
Well, I love my church now, but I come back to Monroe to shop because you have amazing shopping.
Yes.
I just love the atmosphere of your downtown area. So I make my husband take me on dates there every once in a while.
Awesome. We look forward to seeing you out and about.
We got some good new
Absolutely.
restaurants too. You gotta check those out.
Yeah,
we do have 6 more coming, all within probably the next 6 months.
that's fantastic. We need some really solid, good dining in the Tri-County area, and I think we're well on our way to getting that. Jessica actually lives in Conyers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So so same area, close enough.
I do a lot of work out in Covington and in those areas, and spend a lot of time in Monroe and Rutledge, and so yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys for coming on. We are taking next week off. So for our community focused viewers in March, we're going to be on kind of a bi-weekly schedule. So we'll have community focus on the 10th and on the 24th. So we'll be skipping the 3rd and the 17th. But we'll be, I think, in Albany next on the 10th. And just thanks again, y'all, for coming on, telling us some awesome stuff about the Monroe area. Really, really impressed with the direction that you guys are going.
Thank you, Faith. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good day.